Hello, my name is Devin Smith, and this is my discussion board question for the how operating systems secure and protect users' data. So, an operating system is the physical environment where your application runs, and any vulnerability in the operating system can compromise your data and the information that you have on said system. Any vulnerability in the operating system could compromise the security of the application as a whole. By if you secure the operating system, you are less likely to have people being able to access your account, like your information, all that kind of stuff. You can make the environment stable, you can control access to resources, and you can control external access, like who can access like the operating system. And the physical security of the systems are essential. Threats can come through the web, but they can also come from a physical terminal. So, like somebody actually accessing a computer within a system that allows access to operating systems. Even if the web access is very secure, if an attacker obtains physical access to a server, like within the company, or at least the server that the company's computer systems run on, it becomes a lot easier for the attacker to get into the system and obtain information that they are seeking. A lot of the practices that are used to be safer is like pretty standard stuff that you see even now, like through Google, email, like all that kind of stuff, like when asking about like your account information. So a big one for a company to protect the information is to limit the amount of accounts on the server computers. Unnecessary accounts open opportunities for attackers because if you have a bunch of accounts, it's a lot harder to control access and have secure sort of guidelines put in place on those accounts, making attackers' availability into the server itself a lot easier. So by maintaining and limiting the amount of accounts will increase your security just out of the lack of presence for attackers to get into the server. Limit administrative access to server computers, because if you have fewer administrators, it makes it easier to maintain accountability and to know who does have access to certain things. So when problems arise, you know who to talk to about it and ask them like what they did, like who's had access to their computer, like all that kind of stuff, because the less people you have to talk to about it, the easier it is to probably find the leak and find the attacker themselves. Use required access permission to allow account owners to know when attackers are trying to access their information. So like, for example, if my Gmail, like if I access my Gmail on a computer that I have not logged into it on, when I log in, I have certain access requirements to get into my account, but they come to my other devices that I always have on my person. And then I also have to go through extra steps that will allow me to get into my account based on protection and security, stuff like that. Password policies is also another big one because it ensures password security and strength, along with doing things like changing your password, strengthening your password, making sure that like your employees have certain guidelines to meet for their passwords, like making it in a longer password, having not just letters, including numbers and special characters like exclamation point, hashtag, like that kind of stuff. In turn will make your password a lot stronger. Even things like capital letters, stuff like that. The harder your password is, obviously, the harder it is for attackers to gain access through just using your password. And it's not just something that you could just guess based on, basic passwords like 12345 or password is your password. And then what you want to do with those policies is ensure that they're upheld by sending notifications to ensure compliance from your employees, because if they don't do this, then attackers could get in through their password. And once they get into the server and based on like the accounts that they use from the person, it will just become a lot easier for attackers to gain access as a whole. So just applying those basic policies will ensure that your operating system will be a lot safer than not using those policies.